That's great. Just in order to repeat myself, hi, my name is Ilya, and I represent NurseBay, which is a community of professionals as well as employer of record provider. We work mostly from Finland, and today we have a webinar about trade unions and how they work. So now we are just waiting for our guest. He will join us soon, and then we will start. Okay, great. So we have Owain here. Hi. How are you doing?
Good. I thought I'd remembered Teams and not Google Meet, and then had the rush of trying to remember how Google Meet works. But I am good.
Yeah, no worries.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, great to hear. So yeah, now officially, everyone, hello and welcome. We're so excited to have you here today with us. Whether you're a longtime community member or just discovered NurseBay, we really appreciate you taking your time with us. And at NurseBay, we really believe in the power of community. We believe in the power of personal growth. Of course, we believe in remote work, and we bring together like-minded professionals to share knowledge, create opportunities, and build something great together. So whether it's through networking, mentorship, or useful tools, like, for example, Employer of Record or EOR, we support your journey of working remotely from Finland with less hassle and more clarity. Just before diving in, I'd like to introduce key people behind NurseBay. So first of all, it's your humble servant today is me. I'm an operational director in NurseBay and a business development specialist. I ensure that everything runs smoothly and that we keep growing, exploring new opportunities, and making an impact. Then here we also have Julia. She's our founder and true expert and community development specialist. She's really passionate about bringing people together and then actually fostering meaningful connections and creating spaces where self-development flourishes. Okay, and today's event is about TEK. It's one of the most prominent Finnish trade unions, I'd say. And we can't really wait dive into insightful discussions, hear your thoughts, and learn together. So grab a coffee, get comfy, and let's get started. So as our main speaker, we have Owain from TEK. So yeah, I think that I introduced a bit about us. Owain, would you like to introduce yourself in a couple of sentences?
Hey, yeah, good to be here, everyone. My name is Owain Hopeaketo. I moved to Finland myself in 2016 from the UK. I studied at Aalto University, graduated from chemical engineering, and now after a couple of years have worked for the trade union TEK for 3 years or 3.5 years. 2 years working in recruitment, working in telling people what trade unions do in Finland, telling international people what trade unions do, and now a 1.5 years in public advocacy. So basically advocating for international members, advocating for highly skilled, highly educated international experts living here in Finland is my job, both inside the trade union and outside the trade union.
Great. And also, while walking by Aalto today, I noticed your billboard that you're running in the elections this year.
Yeah, I am also a municipal candidate for the Green Party in Espoo, if anyone lives in Espoo. Although I need to strictly say that as a TEK worker, I don't advocate voting for any party over another, but in my personal life, I'm running for the Greens. Yes, so if anyone is in Espoo, feel free to check out my website at hopeaketo.fi, so lastname.fi.
Okay, yeah, great.
That's strictly off the record.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, thank you, Owain, for this short introduction about yourself, and really great so that you're making so much impact in TEK, and then you're really active in social political life in Finland, which is totally great and amazing. And the main topic, however, that we came here together is trade unions, how they work, and we're really interested to learn more about TEK, and basically what it does, how it does, and how every one of us can actually interact with TEK, and in which situations do you go to a trade union, and so on. So we have a really cool discussion that is going on today. One really important reminder is that if you cannot use chat, then you can use a Q&A section, which is in your bottom right corner. So you can find their Q&A section and ask questions. So then we can pick up your questions and answer them quite promptly. Or if you would like to raise your hand and actually ask a question, then it's also possible. So don't hesitate to do that. Okay, yeah, Owain, could you tell me a bit more about TEK? And by the way, should I use your presentation and just click through the slides, or would you like?
Yeah, I think that works. Okay. Yeah, and if you want to stop me at any point, feel free. I'll go through the general overview of TEK, of trade unions in Finland. It's important to give the context. What kind of services we offer, and generally what kind of services trade unions are offering, because most of us do the same. And then about the more real trade union side. Or real trade unions in the collective agreements, but we'll come on to that. So the 4 questions to sort of answer: who we are, what the unions do. Quite late in the presentation, why should you care? Maybe that should be the first point, and then how can you join if you are interested in joining a union and haven't already. We can go next. So who we are. Can keep rolling.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So we are a trade union, I said. In particular, we are for academic engineers, architects, related STEM fields. So this overall means anyone who has been to university for engineering, technology, architecture, maths, physics, ICT, IT, chemistry. I guess IT is probably fairly wide here, and whether it's the kind of, well, in Finland at least, there is a difference between technical IT and science IT. But anyway, either of them are ours. This means 80,000 members. Now we are comfortably over 80,000 members. We are one of the fastest growing unions. Of those 80,000, 25,000 students and about 5,000, just under, who request that we use English. We don't ask nationality from people, but we ask what language they want to be served in. And we are now up to almost 5,000 who request English. So we represent a huge number of international experts as well as Finnish experts. And our goal, protect, provide, and promote. So protect your interests, provide you with benefits, provide you with services that will help your working life. And what I actually more do is on the promoting sustainable working life. And so my particular focus in my work is promoting an international working life, advocating and promoting internationality.
Okay. I have a short question. Actually, two questions, to be precise. So one question is about our unions typically help with labor situation. So basically, if I get laid off and then I'm searching for a job, then what about TEK? Is it helping me to find a new job or kind of create my CV in a right way, or type of like support in job search if I'm a trader?
Yes. It's now with the layout, it's far later in the presentation, but that doesn't matter. But sure. I can also just say, we have our services can basically be broken down into, I'd say, 3 or 4 areas. One is the career services. So we have 8 career coaches at TEK. If in the most dire situations, coaching is needed, obviously only 8 career coaches, so that's a limited option. But if you have that, I really need to get a job, or I've sent hundreds of applications in and nothing's working, then you can send an application to our career service and they'll book long-term coaching sessions for you.
I asked the question just because the current market situation, the job market situation is a bit hectic, and that is why many of our viewers today, they have this question as like one of the first one.
Yeah, and we have many courses online, for example, in our online courses of how to do CVs in Finland, how to do the cover letters in Finland, what does a employer expect from you in, say, IT field in Finland. So we have a lot of help we can't ever really point out jobs, but we have a lot of help to make sure you're at least applying in the way that a Finn would expect you to apply. That there isn't that kind of clash. And then now that we do have so many, or we know about the job market situation, the layoffs and basically layoff and limited jobs, that's when also our lawyers come in. So as a TEK member, you are always able to contact our lawyers completely for free. So free access to specialized lawyers. Will be able to serve in English. It maybe occasionally takes slightly longer to get in English, but in talking like maybe 5 minutes instead of you might have to wait till the next person is on the call. But all hours of the day, all our working hours of the day, our lawyers can be called. That also includes if you receive a job contract, our lawyers can check the job contract before you sign it. And I think that's a huge. Now, obviously, Nerds Bay is advocating for getting jobs from abroad. So I do need to say that our lawyers won't be an expert on the law of every single country, but they can at least help you on the Finnish side of it. That is compliant to Finnish law. And that is a very fast service. So the story I always tell is that someone was in a job interview, they got given the job, they got given the contract on the spot, they were worried, so they quickly got out their phone, took a picture, said that they needed to go to the bathroom. They went to the bathroom. They texted or emailed the photo of the contract to a tech lawyer, and the tech lawyer called back within 5 minutes and said, oh, you need to change this, this, and this. So
Wow.
The lawyers are very, very helpful, both when bad things happen and when good things happen.
Wow, that's really lightning fast speed. But yeah, sure. Owain, thanks a lot for answering my question. And
it's the most important question probably is how we can help, and that's
yeah. So I'll hold my horses to the next slides, and I will not ask any more questions. So we just continue with the presentation.
Yeah, either way is fine. If there is something that you feel is missing at any point, then just interrupt and same for chat questions or whatever. I'm happy to take.
Okay, so we'll continue then to the page number 5.
Yeah, so this overview of everything that TEK does as a trade union, and this is the same things that most trade unions are doing. And the point I want to show is that in many countries, trade union is thought of very much as this haggling over or negotiating for the overall rights and going on strike and all of that kind of very big public actions. But in Finland and for example in TEK, we have a lot of the internal workings that you don't maybe see. So as I just said, in the services side, we have the career and legal services that I mentioned. We also have salary advice. We do a survey every year it's 10,000 members, and ask them how much money or how has their salary increased in the last year, how much money are they earning, etc. And from that we form salary advice. So we can say, if you graduated 15 years ago and you're in this field, this is how much money about you should earn. And obviously there's many factors that affect it, but we can give you a good baseline amount that then you can go to a job interview with. And when they then tell you less than that, because it's a job they're always going to go lower, you are still being paid a good amount, is the aim of our salary advice. But yeah, that's in the services side. We also do many events, for example, that help in networking. Top right is where I work, public affairs and research. So political influencing always sounds a bit dodgy. It sounds a bit American, lobbyists going and giving loads of money to politicians. But for us, it means holding events, meeting policymakers of different kinds, and trying to advocate for a kind of sustainable technology-based workforce. For me, it means advocating that tech needs, or that Finland needs non-Finns in our field, and how we can better help them. But then, of course, we also have communication. That's communication, and then the working life side, which is the most traditional union work. That is what a union will do in any country. So workplace representatives, making sure there's someone at your workplace who you can contact if there's a problem, and negotiating these collective agreements that I'll explain. I think I've got a better slide explaining it later, but collective agreements that decide well, the things that Finnish law doesn't say about your work life.
Yeah, definitely. So great. This is really helpful information to understand how TEK works. Just from my side, wanted to add that when I've been searching for a job, I've been using services, for example, from websites like Glassdoor Jobs, and there they have comparison of salaries. So they have kind of a salary advice when you apply for a position. And for me, this didn't work quite well. So I've been searching for a kind of a legit source of information where I can get a salary advice, and I couldn't find it, at least in Finland. So Owain, you gave us a really great information and really great insights of why to join the union.
Yeah, and then it's research based. So it isn't just that we are inventing a number off the top of our head. If anyone here is a student, we also have different salary advice for students based on how far along in your studies you are. And this is a newer service we're doing, but I think we have every Wednesday, at least a couple of hours, where you can also call for salary advice if because we have this basically app on our website where you can plug in all of your details, and it will give you the graph over time of salaries. But if that is unclear or you have a certain question, it can even be, in rare cases, if you're applying to a very large company, or if a large company is giving you an offer, we may have enough members working in that company that our salary advisor can actually say, actually, their salaries are usually a bit better than that. Or, if you're wanting to change from Valmet to Andritz or something, like these companies that are in similar fields, we might be able to, I can't promise, but give advice that, hey, that other company usually pays a bit better than your company. If you are so give yourself a good increase.
Great.
So it's really useful. It's a really amazing thing about Finland is that this data is available. I've talked to many trade unionists from many countries, and this is very rarely available in most countries.
Yeah, this is really great that you have all the information transparent. So let's move on with the presentation and let's see basics of the trade unions.
Yeah, just to give a bit more that I've talked a lot about TEK, but just to give the kind of context on the reason why, for example, we can have that salary data, the reason why we can help our members so much is because trade unions are a fundamental part of Finnish working life. So it's about 50 to 60% of employees are part of one. This goes up and down over time. I think in the 80s, maybe it had a real dip and then it went up for 20 years and now it's gone down a little bit again. But it's still at about 50 to 60% of employees are part of the trade union. Non-stigmatizing, this means we can meet in the open and talk to people in the open. It isn't some hiding in a basement discussing and hoping the boss doesn't hear. All the sort of stories you hear of Amazon warehouses and things, that's not a thing in Finland. I can't say with 100% because nothing is 100%, but you will extremely rarely be in any way judged negatively for being a part of a trade union. Optional, but advantageous. I obviously listed the advantages, and we negotiate so that you don't have to. If you want to be involved, you can, but our aim is that you can go to work, you can hope that your conditions, that your rights are being respected, and that you're not having to think about it regularly. And generally, we manage that well. And I think on the next slide, I also show kind of just how many unions there are in Finland. So just to, I think, because I think there's maybe a couple that don't belong to any of them. So I think there's about 70 unions in Finland, something like that. 70 unions, approximately 2 million people within the unions. So again, of the Finnish workforce of about 4 million, we have to have about the 50-60%. And I think everyone here, only Akava is relevant. It might be STTK and Akava. I'm not sure on the education that kind of Nerds Bay members have always. But in general, say, for example, TEK is a part of Akava because our members have university education. So if you have a university education or equivalent, kind of somehow experience that is equivalent to a university education, then you will be part of a union that is in Akava, whether it's TEK or one of the other 35. If you maybe have slightly less kind of formal education, or the job is slightly less specialized, you might be in an STTK union, and then for the more blue collar jobs, so the more kind of manufacturing, etc. jobs, then you're in a SAC or union. But Akava is most likely the relevant confederation and TEK within it for you.
Owain, we have a question.
Yeah, true. I saw it when I was speaking.
Yeah, from our viewer. I'll read it for everyone. So
yeah,
Naveen is asking about if someone become member of a trade union and after a few months he is jobless, will trade union help them, or is there some parking period before, like when joining the unemployment fund nowadays?
No, for trade unions, there isn't this kind of period before we'll help. If the membership fee has been paid, then we will help. We also have, in TEK's case, a major discount if you're unemployed. So if you tell us that you're unemployed, then the membership fee will be significantly lower for the equivalent amount of months that you're unemployed. So say that if you're unemployed for 3 months, in the next billing period, we would charge you for 3 months less, or not 3 months less, but 3 months discount. But yeah, we will help basically as soon as you are a member and have paid and are in the system.
Great, thank you for answering. I also have a question. Just maybe a couple of months ago, I stumbled upon on Vero, or Finnish tax office kind of form where you can fill out the form that you're a part of a union and get kind of a tax lowered by the amount that you actually pay to the trade union. Is it correct? Is it something that you can do?
Yeah, the trade union fee is tax deductible. So whatever fee we see on the website, take off your tax percentage, and you pay that much less. So if you have a, I don't know, 15, 20% tax rate, whatever, you don't get the full. I think I understand it rightly, because I haven't had to think about that in a while since I became a member myself. But yeah, you get something like, for example, I think in total for us, and the amount always sounds large when I say it in the year context, but it's 300 euros ish a year. But if you're paying a 20-30% tax rate, then we're talking 20-30% less than that. It is how it works.
Okay, and we also have one more question from Naveen.
Yeah.
I enrolled to membership of other trade union, UTK, and they denied me. And I said that you're a new member and you need to be a year-old member. So yeah, TK can actually, I can give a bit of context, like as I know, like why TK has unemployment fund and they have a trade union. So I'm not sure like how they work. Maybe Owain will provide more information.
They don't have a trade union, but it's the YTK is the unemployment fund that also has services that they offer, but they're not a trade union, and that's this is the difference in this case. Talking kind of honestly, because I think it's important to know, YTK is originally founded and funded by companies, by the employer side, and one of the aims of it is to lower union membership, because they offer some of the same services, but they don't advocate for your rights. So they don't do the collective bargaining. So they weaken the position of trade unions in Finland. So I have a slide that says it later, but I always strongly advise joining your relevant union and its connected unemployment fund rather than YTK. It will, in our case, also our unemployment fund is cheaper than YTK, our connected unemployment fund. But yeah, that needs to be dealt quickly, because every time it's talking to non-Finns or mostly non-Finns, YTK are very, very good at advertising themselves, and then you get cases like this where you realize that they can't actually offer the help that they are maybe saying. Also, without going off on too much of a tangent, for example, our lawyers, if in the most absolute drastic cases you have to go to court, our lawyers will, if not go to court with you, find someone to go to court with you, and all court fees will be completely covered by our lawyer insurance, legal insurance. YTK don't cover the legal insurance. So if you use their lawyers and you have to go to court, and you lose or you have to pay lots of money, you can find yourself out of pocket 20,000-30,000 euros, whatever legal fees cost. That's a very, very specific case that has happened to one of our members, or to one of our now members. But yeah, while I'm rambling, I just want to say that please don't, or please also spread the word that YTK is not a trade union. It is a employer-funded organization.
Wow. So I live in Finland for many years, and I didn't know about it. I thought I've been kind of assured by their website that they're a trade union and an employment fund, and then it turns out that they're actually just an employment fund that's pretending to be a union.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So
yeah. No, end of the YTK rant, but yes, and we are hoping in our communication to better kind of start telling our international members this, because we are getting more and more cases of people, I mean, like in this case, who have joined YTK because they've been told to by a friend or because of advertising, and then have realized that they are just not able to support them in the same way, and then have come to us and we've had to say, well, you weren't our member, it's difficult. So did I hear a beep from another?
That's a definitely nice start for a next part of the presentation about unemployment funds. So then we can discuss about them.
Yeah, and I can answer the question in chat about this, because unemployment fund, we don't have ourselves. We have a suggested one that we work with, and unfortunately, someone asked about the unemployment benefits. We can't pay the unemployment fund money without this parking period. That's the same for any unemployment fund, and that's based on Finnish law. So that we know the Finnish law now changed that instead of being 6 months working, you need to have 12 months working, basically, to receive the unemployment money, and that we can't do anything about. But yes, we advise all our members, it's not compulsory, but we advise all our members join an unemployment fund. This gives the insurance. You can pay them both with one button, so it's not an extra hassle. To give kind of the context for those who don't know, it's something like if you are earning, say, 3,000 euros a month, which is, well, actually lower than what we want our members to be earning, but let's say 3,000 euros a month, and you become unemployed, then from the state, you will get 800 euros per month. From being a part of the unemployment fund, you'll get about 2,000 euros per month, or 1,800. So it's an extra 1,000 euros per month if you're earning 3,000, and it costs 63 euros per year. So it's a no-brainer. So yeah, 63 euros per year, can pay it at the same time as membership. But as said, you need to be working for, 12 months with a minimum of 900 euros per month. And you don't need to build that up in one go. It can be gradual, but you need to be working for 12 months. Then when you become unemployed, you can, or if you become unemployed, you can then get the fund. And then once you've received money from the fund, you need to build up 12 months again. And again, this used to be 6 months. This is government policy or change by the current government. That means it needs 12 months instead. But if you are working to be a part of an unemployment fund, because it will just always be good value for money.
Yeah. Owain, I have one question regarding unemployment fund. And if I already have unemployment fund that is different from Kokokassa, can I still join TEK with my own unemployment fund? Yes, I believe so. That's then in the realm of, I would say, contact our service desk, because those cases I'm not a lawyer, so I'm not going to do that. The lawyer talk of like avoiding the question, I'll just say that contact our service desk if there's any uncertainties like that. For example, I don't think you can transfer time built up, or I'm not sure. I think you can't transfer time built up from one unemployment fund to another. So
it's trickier to transfer unemployment funds, and it doesn't matter. So you will get paid the same amount no matter what unemployment fund you're a part of. It's just about the cost, and we just recommend TOCO because we have the agreement with them that you can press a button and pay both at the same time. So if you're happy to keep paying 2 bills, then there's, I think, no harm.
Okay. So should we continue to the next slide?
Yeah, it looks like there's many slides left, but now I've already kind of talked about the some of the stuff coming up. So it's, as I said, we strongly advise TEK or whatever your relevant union is, plus TOCO or another unemployment fund, rather than just YTK in terms of support. And yeah, why should you care? So I already covered services. We have our workbook, which is especially for students, but it's a job seeking guide. And we have online courses and various help on how to make a CV for Finland, what to do when you're going to an interview in a Finnish company. We have the salary surveyor, which would help you with the amount of salary you should ask for. We have various events, various webinars. For example, we have from Nerds Bay coming and talking to our members about the offerings. And we have, in rarer cases, because they are kind of, especially in times like now when the employment situation is difficult, our career coaches are very busy. But we do also have career coaching and a once-a-year mentorship program for kind of smaller number of help, but in more extreme cases. And as also said, the legal advice and protection, as well as checking your contract. If something then happens at work, if you show up one day and they say, "Oh, we don't need you anymore, you're fired," that isn't okay in Finland. That can't happen. There is the period of notice, so you can contact our lawyers and they can give you the advice on. They might just say, "Leave it." Like if it's, for example, if you already have another job secured or something like that, they might just say it's not worth the legal fight, and they can also advise in that case. But usually what happens is, as soon as the TEK lawyers are involved, the company will pay what they are meant to pay, because they do not want they're just hoping to. Maybe not always on purpose, because sometimes it can be you're working for a company that has 3, 4, 5 people, and they maybe don't have a lawyer or someone on staff who knows the contract law as well. So they might also accidentally break the contract law. So they'll help in those cases. And if you want to be an entrepreneur, we also have legal support for entrepreneurs. We give the discount to the Finnish entrepreneurship support package if you're a TEK member. And I was just now checking if there was any questions before I go on to the juicy stuff.
I don't see any questions from our audience yet, so I think that we can go straight to the next part.
An entrepreneur can't become part of an unemployment fund. They have their own, or they can be, but they're part of their own fund. So you can't be a part of TOCO if you're an entrepreneur. But there is a separate fund that is intended for entrepreneurs. Just how the funding works. That just came up. We can go on.
Sure.
Yeah, my favorite picture that I made, this 3-tier cake. So at the top is a quite sunburned person, so they probably have had time outside of Finland. But while working, they have 3 layers of protection. So you all know about your working contract. You sign it when you get a job. The working contract is very specific to you. So it is only about your job. It only tells what you should be doing. Your place of work, your job tasks, your salary. Collective agreements are negotiated by trade unions, or technically by our negotiators. And this is the part that, for example, or the next slide has a better list, but your amount of parental leave, or your amount of holiday benefits, or your amount of unpaid sick leave. These sort of things that aren't specific to your contract, but they are specific to your company or to your sector or to your industry. So we negotiate that stuff. Most importantly, that means the salary increases. So we, for the last now, I think several years, the main reason for a salary increase in the technical industry is due to unions. It's due to us negotiating that every year. If you are a part of our collective agreement, you must have, I don't want to remember the amount, but X% increase, salary increase. And then, of course, you might also get a salary increase because your boss says, oh, you've done a good job, and that's separate. But this kind of keeping up with inflation salary increase is thanks to us. We also ensure that you have 7.5-hour workdays, because in Finnish law, it says 8 hours. And this kind of goes back to how the system works, that nothing in your work contract can't contain something that breaks the collective agreement or the Finnish law. So if your working contract says you need to work more than 40 hours per week, then you can't. That is breaking the law. Companies are sometimes smart. They sometimes have the kind of, that you work 37 hours with X amount of mandatory overtime. And in some cases, they can jump through the hoops, but it's quite difficult. And they at least have to pay you extra for the extra amount of time. But yeah, if your working contract says something and it breaks the collective agreement or it breaks Finnish law, it is not legal. That is the fundamental. And within your working contract, it should say what collective agreement your contract is a part of. And this is where it can start to get a bit more complicated, because there's quite a lot of collective agreements, and some are specific for companies, some are specific for industries. But it should have in your contract that you need to be a member of, or what collective agreement the contract is a part of. And that is whether you're a member of the union or not. That still applies for you. We want you to be union members because that's how we have the power to negotiate. But you get the benefit in this case, even if you're not a member of a union.
Question.
Yeah.
So we have questions from our community as well that we've been pre-collecting before this webinar. And the question is such that do all IT companies follow the same collective agreement, or are there variations possible? And then the other part of this question is like, actually, do all IT companies follow collective agreements at all?
Yeah, it's not all will follow. This then starts to be where, because I'm not on the 2LMA side, I know there is a lot of kind of under the surface, maybe information that I might not be fully aware of. But I will link in the chat that it is UTN is the negotiator that UTN staff work for TEK or work for another trade union, but it's its own negotiating organization, and they negotiate these collective agreements for the private sector. So they, for example, on their website there have a list of about 30 national or company-specific collective agreements. The companies can be outside of a collective agreement, and the current government is encouraging that. But still, we largely have very good coverage still in Finland. What the sort of the fine details of what happens when a company isn't a part of a collective agreement, that then starts to be more complicated. But overall, there is a collective agreement for, I think it's technology sector rather than, because there's chemical industry, energy industry, architecture, ICT area. Yeah, here it is. So this is now actually expired. This is why you might have seen quite a lot in the news about union discussions and collective agreement issues, or that there has been negotiations and possible strikes and things like this. But this one has now expired. But that is the collective agreement of the IT sector. So not every company will comply by it, but most will.
Yeah, thank you for answering this. So let's continue then to the next slide.
Yeah, exactly. So these agreements, we negotiate them, or our negotiator negotiates them with employer unions. So there are also trade unions that represent companies. We negotiate them together, and if you are working in the private sector, then it's UTN, the one I've just been linking. And if you're working in the public sector, so especially for university, then it's UTO instead of UTN. But they're very similar organizations, but just a small difference.
Right.
And this was the full list that I was giving earlier as to why or what the collective agreement includes, the sort of factors why that it includes, why they are so important for Finnish working life. This sort of Finland being the happiest country on earth, and the fact that generally working in Finland is very nice, or should be nicer than most countries, is because these things kind of safeguard you. But yeah, especially these bottom two, I think, are like the cornerstone, is this annual salary increase and shortened working days. A recent kind of achievement we had was for an increase in the amount of parental leave, for example. So we also try and improve the situation, but with some success, some failure. And I wanted one slide on my actual job. So advocating. So we have a research team at TEK. We do research such as how are graduates doing, how are university students doing, we currently have a survey out to our international members, how are you doing? And we use that kind of data to form what plans we want to make. So we want to support sustainability, we want to support education, we want to support entrepreneurship, diversity, internationality is my area, and we want to support that university students are able to kind of grow healthily or flourish. Yeah, so public affairs is maybe the least visible part of trade union work, but at least I, in my biased opinion, believe it is very important. Yeah, yeah. Just because I remember seeing on the list of questions that I was sent of some of the pre-submitted ones, that someone asked about how can I guarantee that I'm going to actually get English from my trade union and they're not just going to switch to Finnish or not refuse to serve me. And I can at least say from TEK's perspective, and same for quite a lot of unions now, we are very international, and I'm British myself, and we are permanently pushing for improvement. So we've now started research into our international members for the first time. We are organizing events, this program leader seminar, engineering education seminar. We're organizing those big events that advocate for international students and international graduates. The free 6-month rule, the notorious 3 to 6 month rule, while we didn't get all that we wanted from it, we did make it a slightly better law, or us and others lobbying did make it a slightly better law. It could have been worse. We're now publishing a magazine in English for the first time, and we have our highest ever number of non-Finnish members. So we are, since I joined the TEK 3 years ago, we every year are getting more and more international member friendly.
Regarding the 3-6 months rule, as it's a really hot topic nowadays. So as we understand correctly, then IT professionals / specialists and also blue card residents in here, they are able to work for 6 months, or actually to search for a job for 6 months, rather than normal job visa receivers, they only get 3 months of job search.
Yeah. Yeah, it's 6 months. Because it you or can't take. If I understand it correctly, you can't take state money during that time. I still haven't seen a clarification on whether an unemployment fund will be allowed to be taken during that time.
So yeah, there has been some troubles with the connection, but does the trade union have any influence on this process, and in which points, like, can trade union membership or trade union as itself influence on this 3 to 6 month rule? Hello guys, can you hear me? Is it Owain that is having some technical issues, or is it me?
We can hear you, but Owen has some issues, I think. So his video has been freeze.
All right.
Yeah, we can hear you, Illa.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so we'll wait for Owain to rejoin.
I had one question in this, like as we are talking about this TEK membership. So it when I go to the website, they are in European Union also. They cover the 39 European countries. I had a question, like if we become a member of this, so that 39 countries will be also covered and the globally also covered during this membership, or only related to Finland it will be covered?
I think that here it really depends where you actually work. So, like, if you work in Finland, then you become a member of TEK in Finland. If you, for example, work in, let's say, in Portugal, then you become a member in TEK in Portugal. So it's really depending on your location, even though it's like worldwide, not worldwide, sorry, European-wide network, but it really depends on where you actually work, because CBAs are different from country to country, labor laws are different from country to country. So eventually, I think that this is like separate organizations in the different member states.
I don't know why it disconnected me. It said my internet went down, but I could still open up other tabs, so I don't know. But we aren't. I don't know where it says on the website about the multiple countries, but we do have. We do nothing abroad. We do nothing outside of Finland. We have some agreements with, or not agreements even. Some, I don't know, working on the same projects, for example, with other Nordic unions in the same topic. But we don't have anything abroad.
So effectively, it's only Finland that you cover. Okay.
Great. Yeah, we can help. We can help in Finland, and we will try and do our best if, for example, you are living in Finland and get a job abroad, our lawyers will do their best to connect you to the relevant place to receive help if needed.
Yeah, so getting back to the 3 to 6 months rules, as you drop out during your answer. So just a question, like how trade union can influence on this 3 to 6 month rule, and how union can help in this situation if someone is getting in a situation when he or she is laid off.
Influence is a fast answer, because it's at this point not much, because the law is going into effect. We will continue to, as we move towards the next government, ensure that we are meeting members of parliament, we are meeting policymakers, and we are mentioning how damaging the policy is to our members. I think everyone knows it, except the current government, but we will ensure that when the next government comes in, they're actually, in how the law is written, there aren't too many changes needed to turn it into a basically doesn't matter law. And I think the next government, I'm very hopeful will be fine with weakening the law a lot. So I'm hoping we only have 2 years now of this law being in its full power. How we can help, as I said, in terms of the unemployment funds, I'm not sure. I don't know whether. I still haven't seen proper clarification. I think now the clarification must be out there, and I should check about whether you can get unemployment funds money while being unemployed and still get this free 6 months. But anyway, we can give all of the career services, we can give the legal help, we can give everything we can do to help get you employed. We will do. And for example, our career coaches will bear in mind if they receive an application where someone says, I only have 2 months left before I'm kicked out the country, our career coaches will put that to the top of the pile.
Yeah, so it's good that you're helping people in this situation. We've been researching this topic for a bit, and then we asked our question to Finnish migration services, and Finnish migration services got back to us with the answer that if someone is in lomotus or like temporary layoff, then this time can be added to 3 to 6 months. So in this situation, we actually temporary layoff a person, then for 3 months, then basically he or she gets, if he or she is a member of unemployment fund, then gets the unemployment fund benefits, and only after actually a termination date, after 3 months, this 3 to 6 month rule starts to be in effect.
Yeah.
So then a person, if, for example, he or she is a blue card owner or IT specialist, will have 9 months instead of 6. And basically in this situation, and if he or she has just a normal job visa, then basically 6 months instead of 3.
Yeah. The other major change that came to the law in its final version was that if you have a non-competition clause, the law also doesn't start until after the non-competition clause. So these might still be fairly rare when kind of younger in your career, but they do happen, especially in like a field like IT, where a company, when you leave it, will say that you can't work for our competitors for the next 6 months. And we were one of the groups that was lobbying for meaning this period doesn't start until after that happens, because otherwise it's ridiculous. So just there's that detail as well. And Naveen, I completely agree, and that's what we've been saying as a union from the start. And it's funny because employee and employer associations generally disagree on everything because they represent companies, we represent workers. And this rule is one of the times it's actually united us, that we are both saying from both sides of the table, we are saying that this law is dumb. This law is too little time to search for a job. It's too little time, especially in highly specialized fields like IT or like energy technology, where you have 2 jobs that might actually suit well your expertise in the next month coming up.
Exactly. So yeah, then next question is like, how can I join?
Yeah,
I'd like to join TEK.
Yeah. So as I said, for TEK, engineering, architecture related, ICT, maths, physics, chemistry, something like that degree, then you're able to join. Or if you have, say, if you've been working in the industry 20 years, but you didn't have that formal degree, then you'll also qualify. It's not so incredibly strict. You just might have to explain the situation a bit better. We have certain dual memberships. So if, for example, you're an architect, you could join the architecture union and us, and that saves money. But overall, it's 25 euros per month. First year after you graduate, it's 17 euros. And if you are unemployed, then it's at a major discount. So I think it's maybe like 30% of the fee or something like that. So it becomes less than Netflix if you're unemployed. Though I hate that everyone always uses that comparison. And as said, it's tax deductible, so you'll pay less than these amounts. You'll pay whatever your tax percentage is, less than these amounts. And if what I've said doesn't seem right for you, if you're in the IT field, but you're, I don't know, somehow don't consider yourself maybe technology side, or you are here and you're not necessarily from the IT field, or you have a spouse or something. Within the Akava unions, we have this, unfortunately still, I've asked about this, but still only has a Finnish Earl, but the page is in English, jäseneksi.fi. You can fill in what your education is, and then it would list the best union for you. Otherwise, you can call us, and we will probably be able to advise, actually, this other union is better suited for you. If one of the non-Akava unions, if you don't have this like very highly specialized kind of field, then check out STTK. They will have similar services. And importantly to say that you're not being bound. I think there was a question earlier about unions as well, about can you like switch, and nothing is binding you to a union once you've joined it. Just if you change industry and you realize actually this other union is doing a lot more for me, especially if you change between like university and private, something like that, then just change unions. No one is going to hate you for it or like come after you. You're just doing what is best for your rights. Okay, yeah. So, and the summary maybe is, I am a TEK member or a union member, and something has happened at work. Contact us. That's the best advice I can. We have the phone lines, we have the legal services, and we have in your workplaces will be shop stewards or workplace representatives if you're in a company of not that isn't tiny. So there will be someone employed in your company who is able to answer questions, who then can direct us. And that maybe possibly in time was all, even if I, well, we did get through some questions, but if there are any others, I'm not rushing off.
I can start with one. So
Thanks, actually.
Actually, yeah, there is one question.
No, they said they got to go, so I just was saying thanks.
Okay. Yeah, so I have one question regarding the strikes. So that was an interesting question that also been raised in our communities, that in which situations strikes happen, and should I, like, if I'm a TEK member and then collective bargaining is stuck at some point and you decide that some of your workers will kind of go to the strike, should I join the strike? What should I do? And so on. So could you tell a bit more about the strike situation?
I'll firstly say that even if now is a slightly trickier time than usual, our last strike was around the financial crash, I think. So around 2008 was our last actual strike. So they do not happen very often. Some of the more like manufacturing kind of work obviously does go on strike more often, but in terms of specialist work, we know that there's not much point our members going on strike, because you're just going to have to do the work later. Like, it doesn't have the same impact that someone in manufacturing or something has. You know, if you're needing to make an IT project by next week, you're still going to do it by next week. You're not going to, like, it doesn't make a difference. At the moment, with the kind of negotiations ongoing, there's been some warnings, but unlikely to turn into much. And you will receive all the information in English as well on what you should do. And you can contact us. It's difficult to give a broad answer, but you will be well instructed on what you should do. But I mean, I can reference a fellow worker at TEK who is a member of a different union, but he's not an engineer, who when his union did a walkout against the government last year, I asked him if he was joining, and just shrugged his shoulders and said there's no point, because like, specialist unions going on strike doesn't I don't know, it's so much a last case resort that it very, very rarely happens. But if it does happen, you will be informed.
Okay. Another question also from our community is about salary range and like the salary information, which is somewhere available on some websites or some platform and so on. So is there a way how to kind of get the salary range for your position, or at least for basically knowing where to develop? So if some IT specialist or technical person would like to improve in a certain area, would like to go, and of course, like, then the reasoning for that can be a salary range, a good salary, good compensation. So where would this person go to find a relevant information about salary data?
For the data, we have the salary surveyor. You have to be a member in order to access it. And if, for example, if it's urgent and you join us as a member, but you don't instantly have the access, then you can also call up our salary surveying phone number that I think is every Wednesday. But yeah, we have the salary surveyor online, and there you can plug in, the year you graduated, industry, area in Finland, type of work, past experience. Like, there's 8 different drop-down boxes you fill in for yourself. And that will then tell you the 25th, 50th, 75th, 90th percentile of people based on your background, what they are earning. So that will give you, in terms of kind of how to progress, it's tricky to say. Our career service, that's like, they might be able to advise, getting a career coach appointment, and sort of, I've been stuck at this same salary doing these same tasks for a while. What can I do to move forward in my career? That's then where our career services might be able to be involved. But yeah, this salary surveyor is an amazing tool, and I can. It should be mentioned that obviously when there's so many drop-down boxes, it's possible that there's not many people that fit exactly your drop-down boxes. So it does have some, I don't know if it's AI or other algorithm working in the background to try and fill in the gaps, which means it shouldn't be kind of, it is well accurate, but obviously there is a lot of variance. And for example, it doesn't take into account whether you're Finnish or non-Finnish. And unfortunately, we do see that in Finland, there is this, still this pay gap of Finnish employers not sufficiently taking into account past experience that is not done in Finland. So it might be that it is slightly over exaggerating, but
thank you for this great information. Another question also from our community is that let's imagine a situation that I received 3 job offers from 3 different companies, kind of different sizes, different background information. So how can I find out that the company is a part of a union or not? So in this situation, just to feel more secure, as you shown the slide where you have like this levels of security, which is like your job contract and your kind of collective agreement, which is protected by a trade union, and then like the Finnish labor law. So how do I find out that I'm more protected, and how can I find out that the company is a part of a union?
At the very least, or like they're kind of, to phrase it in that, that it's whether the company is a part of the kind of collective agreement. I will actually admit to not knowing if there is an easy. I've just been looking at UTN's website as you were speaking to see is there like, and there isn't a necessarily comprehensive list. It at least has to say it in the job contract. So if obviously if you're weighing up the offers, it depends. If they will already send you the job contract, I guess would depend on the stage. But in the job contract, it will definitely say if they're a member of a collective agreement, because it has to. That is Finnish law. Otherwise, I think I personally think there's no real harm in asking, or at the very least, especially if you have choice like that. I probably wouldn't want to work for a company if I have a choice that would look badly on you asking, are you a member? Is this I'm a member of a collective agreement? because that company would then be probably one that wants to take advantage of you not being a part of a collective agreement. So especially if you have choice, I think ask. Otherwise, send us a message, or especially send UTN a message. They have the contact form, and there might. I will fully admit that there might be some service that I'm not aware of that better helps, but I wouldn't know.
All right. So like all information that we'll get after this webinar, I'll share with everyone who is present and who's been present like to the webinar. So maybe there will be some new information and new links, so we'll share it with you. Meanwhile, if you have any questions that you have, just feel free to post them in a chat while it's still open, and we still have about 5 minutes to roll things. So the kind of last but not least question from our community is, what does person need to do when he or she ends up in a situation of layoff? So what to do next? So what are kind of the first steps when you received a notice from your employer that, okay, like here's a notice period, then basically we have to go through the notice period, and then you lay it off. How does it look from the TEK and just this type of perspective?
Contact our lawyers. That's the best. Like that's they at the moment are incredibly. I was talking to one of our lawyers, and yeah, they are very, very busy at the moment. Or they still have time, but they are constantly getting these calls because of the job market situation being the way it is, of people being laid off. So I think contact our lawyers if you're not, especially if you're not at all certain. Otherwise, I mean, the company should give you the notice and give you the pay that is owed. And for example, when you stop working, if you have outstanding holidays, for example, they should be paying you the compensation, the monetary version of the compensation for the holidays. So they should be following everything. But if you have any kind of, I think our website actually has a page on what happens when you become unemployed as well. But yeah, if there's any uncertainty at all, just contact our lawyers. That is exactly what they're there for.
Yeah, we'll share this information as well. Thank you, Owain, for answering this question. In the case, if everything is okay, if everything is in order, then what are the next steps? So like basically you receive the holiday pay that is left. There has been a notice period and everything is according to the contract and Finnish labor law. Then next step would be actually go to TE Toimisto, or TE Toimisto is now kind of closed.
Yeah.
But like where do you like
within the cities? This again, well, I'm sure the website would say more accurately, but it's you go and register, or if you don't have another job contract waiting for you, then you can go and register at the TE Toimisto, or the now new TE Keskus, or whatever, how they've ever changed the name. You can go and register there. They will then pass on the notice of your unemployment to the unemployment fund. If you are earning unemployment fund, there is a delay period while that happens. So I think it's something maybe like a week or something. Then the unemployment fund will then kick in. To be safe, you should make sure that has been passed properly. You can sort of contact or check your status in the unemployment fund website. But assuming that's gone correctly, then yeah, they'll pass on. You'll start receiving unemployment fund money, and you'll be registered for the TE Toimisto. But of course, we hope that the services they're providing you are useful, but don't rely on them, because they are, well, A, overstretched, and B, not as well suited for people with higher education degrees or specialized jobs. So then start looking around on LinkedIn, on relevant company websites. If you've got any networks from your previous job, start asking around. Do you know of any openings? Unfortunately, in Finland, job seeking is a fairly active process. So attend job fairs, send open applications. That's maybe a whole other lecture of its own that someone from our career services could give. But yeah, take economy stuff first, unemployment fund, then start applying.
So Owain, we have one actually time for one last question, and we have this question from Naveen. So if you receive the offer from kind of companies, and you put a kind of resignation, and later new company doesn't hire you, then what's your right? And I know that there are this kind of a tricky situations when you have been promised, you receive a job offer and everything seems to be okay. Then you kind of end the last place of your work, and then so all of the sudden company says that we will just kind of terminate your hiring process.
Yeah.
From the kind of will this person get support from the TEK lawyers, or what are the situations?
It would depend exactly. Once again, I'll say contact the lawyers, but it's always worth contacting the lawyers in those cases. It would depend on exactly how far the contract has progressed. If you've signed a contract with the new company, then they would owe you whatever it says in the contract in terms of leave notice, or if there's a fee for termination or whatever, they would owe you what they've signed in the contract. If you haven't yet signed the contract with the new company, generally, I assume our lawyers would recommend don't hand in your resignation until the new contract has been signed, but that might not be possible. In Finland, verbal contract is official, technically. Technically, if you have a verbal agreement, it is binding, but extremely hard to prove. And I think our lawyers will usually advise don't go to court over that, or don't really pursue that. It sucks. Hope that you can somehow at least get all the benefits you're owed, and that maybe the old company will take you back. But yeah, it's a tricky situation, and you can get screwed. But at the very least, try to get the written contract signed as soon as possible.
All right. So now I think it's a good time to wrap things up.
Yeah.
Owain, really appreciate your time with us today, telling a lot of super insightful information about trade unions, how they work, TEK, and your work at TEK. We really appreciate your input in our community, and hopefully our community members appreciate it as well. So if you have anything to add, or any kind of closing word, then feel free. This is your time.
Yeah, just that unions are here to support you. We want to support you. It's great to be able to speak to people like this today. I nowadays don't get to do it in my job enough, which is why I enjoy it. I am too much sat behind a desk reading through laws and things sometimes. Spread the word. I think it's really important that we have good, especially now with the 3 or 6 month rule in effect. Exploitation is going to be more at risk. If you are in a situation where you're going to be deported or get a job, there will be more sinister players possibly taking advantage of the situation. So it's now maybe more important than ever that you're spreading the word that you can be a union member and you don't need to be Finnish, and it's completely okay, and it's not frowned upon, and we are here to support you, because we really are. I can say it for us, even if I'm still privileged by being kind of British and European, and I can still say that I would have had a far worse time in Finland if I hadn't been able to rely on trade union support. yeah, that's about it. Spread the word, and don't hesitate to contact text services if needed. I can't promise to reply to every message because I get quite a few, and as I said, now I'm no longer in the kind of service side, which is usually the side that should be contacted. But if they have requests, they'll also pass them on to me. So feel free to ask tech if there's something.
All right. Thank you, Owain. Thank you all for coming to this webinar. We're really happy to have you all in Nurse Bay community and share all this insightful information. If you have any emojis to drop here, just feel free to drop. And then I wish you a really great productive day and working in Finland, either on site or remotely. Thank you.
And remember to vote, everyone.
And remember to vote.
For anyone. Yeah, thanks. Bye. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you.